Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. And today we have a special guest for our channel, Gaurav Madan. And hey Gaurav Madan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Deepak. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Gaurav Madan, you might have already heard about him. He is one of the prominent digital marketers in India. And long back around 2016 or 2017, I got in touch with Gaurav Madan, basically hired him for a consultancy called using clarity.fm. And since then, we have been good friends. We have created a project together and launched a new product called Opt-in Chat. You might have heard about it. And since then, he has been doing his own stuff. I have been doing my own stuff. We keep exchanging ideas. And we are in the digital space. I think both of us have come a long way in terms of business growth. So I just want to ask you, how is life during the lockdown and how things have changed? And what are the things that you are focusing on right now?
So life in lockdown is, a little bit difficult, honestly, because I live away from my family. So I'm not, with my family. So I have to manage a lot of stuff by myself. And then I have a little bit of help from Roshni with regard to the food and everything. Now, obviously, we cannot have domestic help, so well, that is the biggest part of the worry. So that is one thing which is changed in lockdown. Second thing, apart from that, in business terms, what we have seen is earlier we had plans to go into 5 different wings in our business, or do a lot of offline stuff as well. But just because the lockdown happened suddenly and like everything is now into a standstill, we were hiring like a lot of people. We kind of hired like 5 people within a span of let's say around 15 days, and then 2 or 3 people were not even able to join because of the lockdown. So that is how things happened with regard to business. Apart from that, I think so it's still good, because keeping your all the eggs in one basket is not my habit. So I tend to diversify better, and that is why I've been able to survive, and the business is still going very strong. Needless to say, because you both are into digital space, we understand that the growth has been phenomenal and the demand has increased because of the lockdown. So some positives, some negatives, but overall it's a good experience always.
Yes, yes. So same here, and what I have figured out is that having an offline component is very important for this business. Of course, most of the things happen online, but putting yourself offline, meeting people, doing events, it adds like a huge credibility for the personal brand, which most of the people don't do it even when there is no lockdown. I definitely miss that. Wearing a good suit and going on stage and speaking in front of hundreds of people, that no matter, even if I have like 2000 people on a webinar, the feeling of going on stage, the adrenaline rush, that cannot be replaced by a webinar, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so as far as I know, you are into events, you do offline stuff, you are into online information products, you sell courses, and you are also into technology, you also into tools and stuff. So what else you are in, and how has been your experience working on all of these things?
So since 2017, we started doing a lot of SaaS products. We came up with first tool was LiveSuite Pro. So that is where the journey began with regard to doing specifically SaaS tools. It's been great experience helping marketers and agencies across the globe to scale their business and their clients' businesses. And then apart from that, we do a lot of affiliate marketing, like heavy affiliate marketing. We've been doing that. So recently, one of our Google Ads accounts got shut down. So, so it's like one wing got disturbed right now. So, anyways, we're still doing a lot of heavy affiliate marketing, and then we were planning to go into events, offline space. We were coming up with our first event by the name Home, as in like we have our brand name, which is High on Marketing, and then High on Marketing event. It was supposed to be a home for marketers, HOME. So that was something which was planned, and then it suddenly got disturbed because of the lockdown. Everything was going really well. I do a lot of info products as well, but info products I just started very recently in November, because for the last 3 years I was not doing any form of info products. Earlier I was in DSIM training like crazy, for 2 long years every single day. but then I got tired, and then I was like more driven towards, okay, I know everything, let's scale the business. And now I'm back helping people. So far, we've grown the community to 4,000 people since November, 4,000 paid students. And then they all have been appreciating the course. And I think so a lot of people know about it already.
So even I got your 77-day Facebook ads course. It's very in depth. I also have a Facebook ads course, but your course is much more in depth. And some of the things that I have missed in the course, and even I don't know, I started learning from your course. So that was like, I think, really lot of effort put into it, and it takes like insane amounts of discipline and hard work to get a course like that done. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you so much. So same thing, we were literally at the time we had just like 6-7 modules left. I was like about to give up. I said like it's been a long journey for us, and it was not just for me, for Roshni as well. She created 77 days LinkedIn marketing course. Now Facebook still has so much depth in it. LinkedIn still has lesser depth, right? So it has been a challenging task, but then yeah, I took it and I did it, and I'm happy that I did it because a lot of people are benefiting out of it. And now I'm on the similar task of building the funnels course. Now that's crazy in depth again, but it's just like I've started. We're at 25-30% of it, so I'm still doing every day, one video every day. So long journey, yeah, gonna help a lot of people for sure.
Fantastic. So I think since we were already on this bandwagon of online marketing, affiliate marketing, selling online information products, I think we were able to adapt much easier to this post-corona world where everything suddenly changed. Nobody expected something like this to happen. But a lot of people who, so first of all, a lot of businesses got affected completely in the travel, tourism industry and everything. Unfortunate, can't do anything about that. At the same time, a lot of people working in IT and who are able to do work on computers have adapted to some extent, where they are working from home, but still their jobs are under risk. And especially people who have bought homes on EMI, especially in these IT hubs and everything, I think they would feel a pinch. I was always skeptical of that. Like, how can you build thousands of houses in something like Electronic City and expect it to keep appreciating like forever? So unfortunately, some of my friends are also in the same position. And from what I have heard, everybody now knows that we are in the post-corona world, and expecting things just to get back to normal just like that is a very unrealistic expectation. It might take years before it gets back to normal, and at least for the next 2 to 5 years, people would be still skeptical of going into crowded places and everything because the fear is there. So what do you think someone like he's like into IT for 10 years, he does not know anything, he wants to come into, let's say, start making some money online and start some business online, and as soon as he comes into the entire ecosystem, he would be bombarded with so many things, uh, things like affiliate marketing, blogging, this, that, information products. It's just going to be very confusing for them. So if you had a friend who is asking you for advice, hey, I think I cannot ignore this anymore. I need to get into this whole online space and figure out how I can eventually work from home and build a business of my own using my personal brand. What would be your advice to such a person?
So okay, so I'm calling this digital marketer V2. Okay, I'm already working on this, right? So what is this digital marketer V2 all about? So now earlier in the phases when this all thing started, SEO blogging was one of the major things which used to happen. Then as we proceeded further, what happened is, these websites, landing pages, funnels, customer journeys came into picture, right? And then there is such a social media storm that happened that now everybody wants to be a TikTok star, right? So now what are the essential things if we see from a perspective of a business are only two things. One is leads, one is sales. Now, obviously, leads could be in terms of getting a call from a customer or an inquiry from a customer, and sales is money in the bank, as simple, right? So if you want to generate leads and sales, then I always say to people there are only three key components to it. Only three key components. First component is copywriting, which is least talked about thing, but it is one of the most important things when we do anything online. So learn copywriting. If you are my friend, I would literally push you into the well of copywriting and make you learn. Okay. You can learn from reading books like Copywriting Secrets. You could learn it from Dan Lok. You could learn it from me. I have a copywriting course, probably Deepak's internships, right? So there is a lot of things. So learn copywriting. Second thing which is there is, now we are into a post world, post first digital marketer V1 version. So now we are into these things like, landing pages are a thing of past. Now funnels and customer journeys have come into picture. Okay, so if you want to ever, sell an offer or sell something, anything, literally anything, or generate a query or anything, you would have to showcase your products or services, right? And how do you showcase it? With the help of a website. Now, earlier website was, becomes like, today website becomes so confusing because there's so many products listed on it. So that is why we come into the concept of funnels and customer journeys, where we are very focused and we have a very focused approach towards one product and how we could maximize the output of that one product. Okay, so that is really a funnel, right? And then there is a customer journey in terms of how do you maximize the value of that customer through his journey of over like next 1 or 2 years. So that is the second thing I would advise everybody to please learn about funnels and customer journeys. Okay, and then the third things, which is the most important, of course, if you may have done copywriting, may have done funnels, but if you don't know about traffic, how do you get this traffic? Now, then it is going to be a problem. Now, there could be two forms of traffic: organic traffic or inorganic traffic. Organic could be in terms of, Web 1.0, we're saying in terms of, inbound marketing, SEO, or things like Quora questions, things like Pinterest pins, social media organic stuff. Though the reach has really, really declined, and it has become harder and harder over a period of time, that it's becoming difficult, honestly, to rank. For me to rank on a competitive keyword today, it is difficult. It's not that easy job, and it needs little bit of maths. So that is where I suggest people, okay, if you don't have that patience, because patience is not something which everybody has, specifically the youngsters these days. So I say you go into paid traffic. Paid traffic has never been cheaper because of Corona. The advertisement rates have smashed down for the first time in the entire history of human life.
And less than half, right?
Exactly, less than half. So right now, it's such a beautiful time to advertise. If you are into digital space, of course. If you have an offline business, then obviously it does not make sense, because the business would not prosper. You cannot deliver, right? Even if you said. So that is where these three things I recommend: copywriting, funnels, and traffic. And inside traffic, don't go everywhere. Just learn two basic networks, Facebook and Google. You're good to go, because these two networks control almost 80 to 90% of paid traffic online. There could be thousands of other traffic networks available, but then they still don't have a hold on such a big audience. So that's I'm calling it as a digital marketer V2. We've been working on it for the last 7 months already. So soon I'm going to come up with the concept in public too.
Fantastic. So I've noted down all the points you have said, and it makes a lot of sense. And I'm, first of all, like, immense gratitude for, I don't know, sometimes it's luck also that we are at the right place at the right time. People who are just starting to learn Facebook ads and Google ads, by the time they finish learning and start implementing, the ad costs might start rising again. And we are here running campaigns, and we are experiencing such a low ad cost, and we are just scaling up ad spend like crazy. So anybody who wants to leverage this should basically learn Facebook ads and Google ads and learn funnels and start leveraging it very soon. So I'll just go over some of the things you said from my perspective. So first, you said importance of copywriting. Absolutely. When I launched my first course, it was the Google Ads course. I made around 2.5 lakh in revenue. Then I put all the money back into list building, launched a Facebook ads course, made 4 lakh in revenue. Then launched an SEO course, made 8 lakh in revenue. And then I launched the 100-day blogging course, which made again 4 lakh in revenue. But then my copywriter reached out to me, and he asked me, can we promote this entire thing with landing page copy and a sequence of sales emails? So at that time, I did not understand the importance of copywriting, and he kept following up with me, and he said he would charge me like around 40,000 rupees for the entire landing page. And it was actually cheap. Now looking back at it, it was actually cheap. But he wrote a kick-ass copy, and I had an email list of around 1.5 lakh at that time. And the same email list the same resources. Nothing else has changed. Instead of sending the traffic to the InstaMojo payment link directly and just an outline of what is there in the course, I sent it to the landing page and used the sequence of sales emails. And from the same list where I had made 4 lakhs, I made 22 lakhs. And that was like the biggest jump for me. And I then realized that, okay, copywriting is like super important, cannot be ignored, and that needs to be like taken super seriously. So yes, so everybody needs to learn copywriting. I think Dan Kennedy's Ultimate Sales Letter is a good place to start. And basically it is like sales techniques applied on print, right? That's
Right.
what it comes down to. And also I think people should really focus on some analytics, like, you know, cost per lead, revenue per lead, because end of the day, what I see is that most of the people making a mistake is that they are not focusing on products and they are not focusing on sales. Because first of all, even when I came into the market, I started exploring things. You know, you are not confident enough that you can create a product and people will find it valuable. And unless you actually try it for the first time, you will never build that confidence. You have to like put out a product there. It could be an ebook, it could be a course. And a lot of people get distracted by what are the money making methods. Obviously AdSense is like the first thing. People are like, oh, AdSense approval chahiye, AdSense approval chahiye. And they take it so seriously. Then they look into affiliate marketing. Then they are looking for so many money making methods online, and they fall for so many things. But create a digital product and learn how to sell it using copywriting, learn how to get leads using ads. It could be, as you said, Facebook ads or Google ads, or it could be Quora or anything else. Even if they are going completely organic, as long as they have the product, if they can have a product, have a landing page, return the copy, and then even they drive some, you know, 500,000 visitors completely through organic effort, it's going to start making some revenue, and then they can start putting that money into paid advertising. So yeah. And a lot of people still think that email marketing is like an old method and does not work anymore, right? So what do you have to say about email marketing? It almost feels like, okay, keep thinking that while we keep bringing in the money via email marketing. I don't want any competition.
So, in our industry where we come from, email marketing has given us approximately 70% of the revenue in our company.
Hmm.
So now 70% of such a big chunk is huge. It's literally huge, and we've made millions of dollars online. And so it's funny how people ignore the basics. They don't see what other people, other successful people are actually doing. They kind of fall for the things which are visible online in terms of social media and other things. But when you actually see in the back end, email performs outrageously well. And now not just email. Now we have started combining email with SMS. The day we started combining both of them, it showed tremendous amount of results for us. Like literally, we had like a web. Generally, when we do a webinar, a show up rate would be somewhere around 20%, 20-25%. We literally grew it to 35% with just one sequence of email versus SMS. Just literally, we were like surprised. We maxed out on a webinar, and we were not expecting that. In the last time when we did not do SMS combination, we did like close to 600 attendees. And then when we did the SMS part, we did 1,000 plus attendees. And like everybody's mailing us, we're not able to join and everything. So it's crazy. I mean, it's like emails, guys. If you're not using email, I would just say you are a fool living in the paradise. Okay, somebody who's living in the paradise but doesn't know how to use it.
Fantastic. So it's very good feeling when you have like a Zoom account with 1,000 people capacity, and you see 999,000, 1,002, and then it keeps wavering there. Like, it feels exciting. Like, the webinar is full, and you are probably not upgrading because you might be having like maybe 1,100 attendees and you can't get to the 3,000 yet. So I have been there, and it's a wonderful feeling. So what tools would you recommend for email marketing and SMS? What is your tech stack?
So SMS, so I have learned from you. SMS Horizon is something which I use. You recommended me using it for a while now. Then apart from that, email marketing, I'm very comfortable with ActiveCampaign because of the automations it offers. And if somebody wants to, get started, you use ConvertKit, I think so. So with ConvertKit, I've seen a lot of spammers also coming into picture. A lot of Nigerians, use ConvertKit. So I'm not very sure how they're managing their IP in the repo. So, but apart from that, if your deliveries are great, which I see, you almost did like 26 million emails, I think so. I saw screenshots, something like that. So if that is also a great tool. And then apart from that, if somebody wants to get started for free, like you don't have money but you want to get started, I would recommend MooSend. MooSend gives 1,000 subscribers, I think so, for free, and has the same kinds of automations which an active campaign level would do. So I use it as my secondary tool, which is there in my kitty.
Mm-hmm. So I have an active campaign account which I had paid 1 year in advance, and then I have a ConvertKit account as well, and I kind of use both alternatively. And I'm still unsure about how ConvertKit is managing their entire sender reputation thing, because in terms of uploading lists and just blasting to the list, ConvertKit is not that strict compared to other tools. And Active Campaign will ask you questions if you upload a mailing list. ConvertKit doesn't, which makes me a little bit worried as well. So that's why I'm like holding on to both, because suddenly if an email marketing tool doesn't work and mails are not sending, I need a backup, right? So yeah, Active Campaign also I'm pretty happy, and I think they have like a very good team in terms of support, automations, and some of the automations are not available in ConvertKit, especially the complex automations, goal setting, tagging. I've played around with that a lot. So now that we have like kind of covered some perspective on what someone getting into the whole space should be looking for. They need to learn copywriting, they need to learn email marketing, they need to be creating products, which is digital products, which we haven't talked about much. So obviously all this copywriting, learning analytics, and then email marketing kind of comes together only if you have a product to sell. So if somebody wants to sell a product, most of the people will be like, first of all, they are not able to choose a niche. They think that they assume that every niche possible is already too saturated, but the truth cannot be farther from that, right? There are like so many niches still waiting to be untapped, waiting to be tapped. And how do they even get started? Let's assume that they cannot build an app or a SaaS product as of now, because most of them are not coders. But if somebody wants to develop an information product, how do they even approach the whole thing?
So a part first of the theory, what I would like to say is one thing which is still very much untapped is something called as FAST as a solution.
Okay.
Which I came up, with in your group as well. I uploaded that. So funnel as a service. Okay. In the entire space, in different ecosystem, different niches, already a lot of digital marketing agencies may be there, but they're not able to cater to something called as funnels. Okay. And they don't even know the concept, honestly. Now I've been to best of agencies, and they don't understand what funnels are and how customer journeys can be automated. Right. So that is part one of the theory, which I would say, and that is where I started as well. I started it by doing a client on cakes, if I remember. Not really cakes. So I started with chocolates, then I went to cakes, and then I did with transcription services client. And now a couple of my students into jewelry niche are making a crazy amount of money using online methods. Now jewelry, online methods with B2B. Now that was like a brain blasting thing for me, because now there is a guy called as Neerav. I think so you also know him. Now he's doing webinars for jewelers across India.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
100, 120 jewelers are joining the webinar, and then he's sharing ideas with them in terms of how you could really still go on strong even in this Corona post-war. So I don't really feel that the tech which is there has been applied to actual niches so far. For example, my brother is into hardware store, and he's into like import from China and then sell it right here. Now he doesn't use funnels at all. He doesn't even have a website, but he does a crazy amount of business, right? So still there is plenty of people who needs this. That's part number one. And because the Corona has happened, there is going to be way more demand of they coming online than earlier it was. Now coming back to the second part of digital products. Now digital products could be done in various formats, in various ways. One of the most amazing ways I've seen somebody delivered a course was through email. Okay. And it was by Andre Chaperon, email marketing course delivered by email, of course. And then, if you have taken that guy's course, he's like crazy, crazy, amazing guy. And like everything is coming on email. Everything is coming on email. His content is on email. He's not using a membership platform. He's not using anything else. It's crazy. So I would say keep things very, very simple when you're starting. When I started back in time, I used YouTube private videos and I gave it, and I said, okay, this is a list. For example, there is another guy, Amit Mishra from Priotech, if you know.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did his blogging course. He gave it access in a Facebook group. As simple as that. Facebook group, you upload it in units and then he's delivering it. So right now, the way I see things is you may have any form of digital product, be innovative about it. You don't really need a lot of tools to get started, right? And the way to approach is keep saying things simple. Think, work on your content. The content should be kick-ass, like really, really kick-ass. Nobody else can think of doing that again. Okay, that is how I build my courses. Now, if I'm doing it, if somebody else is going to build it, he's going to think 500 times that will I be able to put that much of effort that Gaurav has put in, right? So it's just on the content part. The remaining part is still very simple, very easy going. You could use Facebook groups to deliver content. You could use YouTube private videos to deliver videos. Okay, and whatnot. You could do Google Drive, for example. That is also easy. Dropbox. A lot of free things are there, which we could literally just give a link and then its delivery is done. So apart from that, what kind of digital product ideas? I can give you certain bit of ideas. I think so. Deepak wanted me to put that through as well. So PDF guides. The first thing, a good PDF is something which anybody can build from Canva.com, absolutely free of cost, doesn't take money. Okay. Then I saw Ankit Singla doing flashcards of blogging topics. It was amazing idea. So flashcards is nothing but just like it's just like an Instagram post you do. You go to Canva.com and you do one post, square post, put it up in terms of whatever the idea is. He did a fill in the blanks blogging titles on different flashcards and he gave like 60 flashcards. It was an amazing idea, right? It was like, wow. So this is all done from free stuff, okay, Canva.com. And then third, which you can do is, of course, video screen recording. You go to loom.com, getloom.com, which is probably will allow you to do a lot of free stuff, right? And there are a lot of tools which, with the help of which you can record your screen and do it. I think so. Deepak used something like Screenomatic, I think so.
I
And I
use
use
ScreenFlow, and you use Camtasia.
Createflow, Camtasia, a lot of tools. And if you don't really have the money to pay for these tools, you have online tools as well. Getloom.com is something which you can do it for free. Apart from that, if you want to go ahead and do more ideas, I go a little deeper. This is a new idea. Nobody has done this, and I'm giving this here on this particular video. And somebody was going to listen to this and is going to go crazy about it. So now I gave this idea in my group. Canva.com has a feature to share a particular design. So if you could do a graphics pack, and then in the delivery you're just doing the sharing URLs of those particular graphics. So somebody pays the money, he gets the URLs, he clicks on that URLs and can edit the design and use it for themselves. That is the first of its kind, by the way, right? Nobody is in India is doing. Outside, of course, a lot of people do. Apart from that, there is another idea. There is something called as PLR, private label rights. Okay, a lot of times people don't. For example, Deepak asking me, "Can you give some good ideas to products?" Now I could pick up one of my product and give PLR rights to you. Okay, or master resale rights, we call it MRR. So PLR and MRR are very, very unknown terms in Indian space. Nobody is using it. Absolutely 0% is using it. And this is a very unique idea. If you do MRR, PLR, you're going to get people like us buying their stuff, right? So it's an amazing idea again. And this could be
Actually, I have seen PLR and MRR. I used to go crazy about it. I used to buy PLR and MRR stuff long back, like 10 years back. And then I used to put a landing page and drive traffic to it. And now the whole Indian information product space has like exploded, and nobody has touched it at all, right? Nobody is saying like,
So again, there are a lot of things to be done in the digital space in terms of info products. Making a course is just very, very tiny part of it,
Yeah.
right? And you can literally do a lot of different things. In terms of another thing, which is I don't see people doing right now, is building up their backend funnels in terms of one-on-one coaching. Now, Moonis has done like crazy amount of revenue with regard to one-on-one coaching. because he does it, and he takes approximately, I think so, 3 to 4 lakh rupees for teaching entire e-com one-on-one basis, and then he's cracking good number of clients. Because see, again, that is another form of info product, which can be done online. It's just like in the form of live classes, which is happening. And then he told me a crazy idea that he says it's very easy to handle. You just have to give assignments to people. People love assignments. They'll do assignments. They'll come back just like you have done it in your internship, right? So a similar pattern just done on one-on-one basis with a higher ticket size for people who need one-to-one touch and all those things. So again, I think so. We've touched down on a lot of spaces. I'll still keep a little bit of gray area for myself. Not going to reveal anything. Yeah. So, but yeah, you have enough ideas right now.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, people can do Zoom interviews like this, and it's very easy to get experts. Now there are like experts in so many different fields. There are so many different niches. If you take health niche, diet, there are experts are always looking for exposure. And if you invite them for an interview, they would be most probably saying yes, because people like conversations like what we are doing right now, and people like exposure. So somebody could just start a series of interviews. They could like interview 10 different experts on a particular niche. People are constantly asking, hey, I don't know about this particular topic. What would I create? How can I sell an information product? If you don't know about it, you don't need to be the content creator. You can be the content curator. And all the content is available on the web, but people want it in a structured and organized way. So go ahead and interview people, and interview like 10 different experts, and create a product out of it and sell that product. And a lot of people are leveraging that, right? Like for example, Mubez, he is just taking all of us
right,
and just using our personal brand, our expertise and everything, and he's just like the curator, and we are also like completely okay with it. Dude, you are giving me more exposure, so why not? So we completely fall for it. And a lot of people still are not doing that. I think even like for example, Andrew from Mixergy, he built such a big brand, absolutely nothing from scratch, just by interviewing people, right? So, and it's also fun, like people can interview one or two people every day, and within a month they can have like a collection of 50-60 videos.
Crazy. It's an amazing idea. So Mubez is doing like close to 1 or 2 CR per event, which I heard from him. And
Easily.
It's a good amount of money, man. You're missing a lot on.
And one more thing you said about the funnel as a service, right? I think that is a fantastic idea. Other businesses want to know how to build funnels, and if you can do funnel creation as a service. In fact, I came up with this term long back. I had written it on my whiteboard. I had put it as FCAS, so funnel creation as a service. And then I had put one more thing called TLAS, called thought leadership as a service. Like, there are a lot of people who are experts in different fields, but they don't have an online presence. So I used to think about, what if I went ahead and told them that I will build a blog for you. You spend this much per month, and I will have content writers. I will do the keyword research. I will build the lead magnet, tripwire, everything. And I will basically build your personal brand. So you are like thought leadership in a box. So in fact, that takes a lot of effort in terms of going out, getting clients. So that did not see the light of the day, but very interesting to see that you have like, similar thoughts. And I was also planning to write a book, and the title of this book is going to be called Light at the End of the Funnel. So it's all going to be about funnels.
Awesome. Amazing.
Fantastic. So I think we discussed a lot of ideas today. It's already 45 minutes. Time flew. Didn't feel like 45 minutes. And I think for the viewers, plenty of value and ideas. And just to like quickly recap, we talked about copywriting. We talked about analytics and metrics. We talked about user journey management and funnels. We talked about email marketing, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and then a lot of ideas for products. I think people, just by watching this, they don't need to buy anything. They don't need to create any product. Just by watching this webinar, they can go out and start making money, I believe.
Absolutely. If you're an action taker, you should literally be making money by now.
Yes. It all comes down to
it's funny.
Comes down to action.
Yeah. The other day, I put this idea in my group of, all the students are there in my group. So this is very next day, somebody came up with 70 plus designs in Canva, and he says, okay, I've done this. And other people are like bewildered and shocked. What the hell happened? So action takers do it like this. They literally have 24 hours turnaround time and execute it. Just go and execute.
And it's always about there is a mind voice which is always preventing you from taking action, saying that let's do it perfectly, let's gain more information before we go and do it. And I heard somewhere that it's called the problem of intellectualization. So you feel like you need to keep learning something new until you get to like a saturation point. But the problem is that it's all potential energy, and unless you actually put into action, whatever you learn beyond a certain point is not going to make any sense, because you have not applied it and you have not learned from it. So whatever comes after it, it's not gonna make any sense at all, right? So it's like I use this analogy always. Like for example, if there is like a Swiggy guy who is trying to deliver food to me, and let's say this guy does not have a GPS. Sometimes they don't have a GPS, or they find it very difficult to find the house. So at that time, if you say that if you give like a bunch of 10 different instructions, come to this junction, take left, then right side you will find this building, take right there, and come to this building which has a black gate, then he will get like confused. There is whatever you say, everything will go over his head. So he will say that, sir, I will just first come to this junction, and then I will call you, and then we will see where to go from there. So you have to like probably talk to him like in 3 different parts, and get him like to different milestones before he actually reaches your house effortlessly. So that's what I feel. People should learn a little bit, take some action, and then learn more. And whatever they learn more after they take action is going to make sense, right? So that was the idea behind the internship program that I launched. So instead of continuously cramming up things, you go and do stuff. You want to learn blogging, just set up a WordPress blog, get it indexed, and then you can figure out keyword research and all that stuff you can figure out once you have a blog up and running, right?
So this is more driven, I call this as POP, problem of plenty.
Okay. And long back, I was speaking to someone. He had a much more funnier term for this. He said it's called knowledge constipation.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't need everything in your head. The things I learned back in 2014, 15, till date I'm not able to execute it just
Yes.
because of lockdown. Now I'm able to put some effort into executing it, right? And then people come and say, Gaurav, how much time you spend on your learning every day? I say I spend hardly 15 minutes.
There is no time to learn nowadays, because there is so much thing yet to be implemented, and we know that it's all comes down to implementation and execution. And another nice analogy I used to tell my students is that like if you have to get to a destination, you don't wait until all the signals turn green before you start your car. You just go to the first junction, wait, then there is a roadblock, you take left, you keep moving towards the junction, but you keep moving, you get started. And that power of initiative and getting something started is where the secret lies to wealth. Anyway, I think if we keep talking, we'll keep talking. So, in the interest of time, we will say goodbyes, and thanks a lot for spending your time sharing all the insights with my audience. And we'll probably do something like this within a specific topic, like copywriting or ads or something like that, maybe sometime in the future. So, thanks a lot, Gaurav, and
Thank
bye.
you so much, Deepak, for having me. And guys, you need to appreciate this guy. He's doing wonders right now. He, bringing me onto the table. I've not shown any public appearance in the last 6 months. Now, this is the first public appearance. The credit goes to this man. Go thank you him in the comments. Share this video with somebody whom you actually care about. Okay, so your appreciation is going to get this guy moving.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
and
you.
bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.